Hello, Psychology of Learning students. My name is Mary Dezindalet, and I'll be the instructor for Psychology of Learning for the spring semester of 2023. I'm so excited that you're taking this class. I really enjoy teaching it, and I think the principles that you learn in this class, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning, are really important for you, for your life's happiness, for you in your life. So many of the principles or these principles are used on us by advertisers that use classical conditioning to get us to like their products. Social media influencers use observational learning to get us to buy their products. Gambling casinos use a lot of operant conditioning to get us to give them a lot of their money, a lot of our money. So these principles are used all around us. The more we know about them, the more we can take control of how these principles affect us. And I think the better off we are. So even though this is a class that's required of all psychology majors, even if you might not want to be taking it and you're taking it just because it's required, I think you'll learn a lot of great things in it. Also, one of the most empirically valid and widely used therapeutic methods in psychology is cognitive behavioral therapy. And as you can see, since behavioral is in the name, in Psychology of Learning, we're learning about behaviorism. Most of the principles that we're going to learn in here are fundamental to understanding cognitive behavioral therapy. And so if you're going to go on and become a licensed marital and family therapist or a social worker or a licensed marital and family or a licensed professional counselor or licensed alcohol and drug counselor, any of these, you will end up really benefiting from understanding these behavioral principles, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning. Okay, well, the purpose of this short video is to go through the syllabus so that you understand what is going to be required of you and what's expected for this course. So hopefully you can see the syllabus. I have it up here now in our square sheet, in our share screen. You can see that the course is Psych 3413. My name is Mary Dezindalet. My office is Nance Boyer, 1017. My office hours are listed here. Mondays from 2:30 to 5, Tuesdays 1 to 5, Wednesdays 2 to 2:30, Thursdays 2 to 5, or by appointment. And you can meet with me through Zoom or face-to-face. I am going to not warn you, but guide you that if you're planning, especially if you're going to take off work or something, if you're planning to come to campus to meet with me during my office hours, if you could just let me know that you're coming. Often these office hours are shared with my other 3 classes. And so if I know a student's coming Tuesday at 1 and you can email me and say, I'm planning to come by Tuesday at 1, I can say, oh, there's already a student coming then. Could you come at 2? So try to email me and give me some forewarning that you're coming so that you don't arrive and you have to wait an hour while I'm talking to another student. We can meet face-to-face if you want to come here. We can meet through Zoom, whichever works for you. My telephone number here in the office is 580-581-2315. But the best way to get a hold of me is through email. My email address is marydz@cameron.edu, although maryd@cameron.edu also works. If you email me, I promise I'll respond to you within 48 hours unless something really strange is going on. That doesn't include the weekend times, but during business days, and probably I'll get back with you even sooner than that. So email is definitely the best way to get in touch with me. You will need to purchase the textbook for this class. I know with some courses you can get away without buying the textbook, but you will put yourself at such a disadvantage if you don't purchase the textbook here. There are, for each week, there are PowerPoint slides that Dr. Stephanie Stern created. And there's videos that she created and that I've created each week that go through the PowerPoint slides that are all based on the chapter. However, if you just look at the PowerPoint slides or just listen to our videos of the PowerPoint slides, I don't think it will be enough information for you to do well on the exam. The best way to handle this course, I believe, is to read the chapter and then watch my video that goes through the PowerPoint slides that Dr. Stern created. For the first week, I just have Dr. Stern's video. I didn't create one other than this introduction video talking about the syllabus. So this first week for chapter 1, you'll watch Dr. Stern's video. But after that, they're her PowerPoint slides with my videos each week. But those without reading the textbook, I think will not prepare you well enough for the exam. So the textbook is here. It's by Paul Chance. There's a picture of it, Learning and Behavior. It's the 7th edition. You could use an older edition, but everything that when I'm talking about what's in the chapter, I'm assuming that you're using the 7th edition, and there's no guarantee that the prior edition will match up when I'm talking about page numbers or paragraphs or anything like that. Okay. Excuse me. For this course, we're going to have 4 exams. There'll be exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3. The first exam covers the first 4 chapters. The second exam covers another 4 chapters. The last exam, the third exam, I think also covers 4 chapters. There's also a 4th exam, which is the comprehensive final exam. And the comprehensive final exam covers all of the chapters that we cover in the course. For exams 1, 2, and 3, you'll have 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete the exam. It will open in Blackboard at midnight at the beginning of the week and close at 11:59 p.m. on the last day of the week. Exam 3 must be proctored. So one of the things that you'll do this week is you'll complete the proctor form that will let the university know how you plan to have your exam proctored. So be careful with that proctoring. You probably won't be able to find a way to proctor it like at 10 o'clock at night on the last night that it's due, because there won't be a proctoring site that's open. So you want to give some thought to that exam 3. The final exam, the comprehensive final exam, will be open on 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, May 2nd, and closes it on Friday, May 5th at noon, just like all of the other final exams this semester. You'll be given 2 hours to complete the comprehensive final exam, and it's not proctored, so you can take it anywhere you want from home or wherever. The comprehensive final exam, because it is comprehensive, if you score higher on it than you do in one of the other exams, you can replace that final exam score, or the final exam score can replace the lowest score that you have, be it exam 1, exam 2, or exam 3. So let's say in exam 1, you got a 72, but then on exam 2 you got an 85, in exam 3 you got a 92, and on the comprehensive final exam you got a 96. Well, that exam 1 grade would be replaced with the 96. So that final comprehensive exam score can be used as one of the exams plus as the final exam. Okay, and of course, if you score lower on the comprehensive final exam than you did on any of the other exams, then it won't replace it. Okay, and each of those exams, the 3 exams plus the final comprehensive exam, are each worth 50 points for a total of 200 points. There's also a whole 100 points that are associated with the behavior modification project. And the behavior modification project we'll talk about this throughout the semester, but it's a great project where you're going to pick a behavior that you're going to actually change. It has to be one of your behaviors. So maybe you're biting your nails and you don't want to do that so much. Maybe you want to exercise more. Maybe you want to stop swearing. Maybe you want to uh, I can't think of another example offhand, but you think of a behavior that you either want to increase or decrease. It has to be your own, not your dog's, not your child's. And you're going to use what we learn from classical conditioning and operant conditioning to try to modify and change that behavior. And you'll be working on this project basically through much of the semester. We'll be talking about the principles and how it might apply, and you'll be given lots of information as the semester continues. There are also 12 discussion boards that are worth 10 points each. And so for each of the week that we don't have an exam, there'll be a discussion board that you'll need to write. And that you'll find them in the course content. You'll be able to see them under course content at the very bottom of the week. It will have the discussion question. Or you can go on the left side of the course Blackboard shell. It'll say course discussion board, and you can click that and then get to the week of the discussion board. This week you have a discussion board, but it's not graded. It's not worth 10 points like all of the others are. The one this week is you're just going to introduce yourself, let us know who you are, give us some information, what's your major, your minor, what do you want to do after you graduate. And when you're thinking about the behavioral modification project with just this little piece of information, what behavior are you thinking you might want to change? Okay. You can also earn up to 20 points of extra credit in this course. There are 3 ways to earn extra credit. So one way is by attending events that are going on in campus that I will post in the announcements. And so, for example, on January 16th, next Monday, Martin Luther King Day, at 2:30 on campus, there's going to be a speaker who's going, it's going to be a wonderful talk. And I believe it lasts 1 hour. And he'll be on campus to, he's going to be talking about poverty and racism in America right now. And he also is going to be the main speaker at the Martin Luther King dinner on campus at 6:30 that night. But the tickets for that are $50 per person. And so I think most students won't want to go to the dinner that's expensive, but rather the 2:30 panel session in the afternoon. That's free to students. If you attend that, then you can earn 10 extra credit points for going to that. There'll be information about that in the announcements. And all throughout the semester, that if there are different things that I feel are relevant to our course, then you can earn extra credit points from attending those. You can also earn extra credit points by participating in experiments. So if you want to participate in an experiment, you can click this link here and get registered in Sona Systems if you haven't been already. And you can then sign up to participate in experiments. Please give us about 2 weeks to set that system up. There aren't any experiments that I know of that are being run during the first week of class. But about January 17th, if you want to check that out, there will probably be an experiment there that you can take. And then another way you can do it is by reading research articles and summarizing them. And I will give you more information about that. Or I believe there's more information about that in the extra credit link that's under the course materials. Okay. So you can see that each week, this week, week 1, you're going to read chapter 1, and you're in the discussion board. You're just going to introduce one another. I'd also like you this week to take a pre-test quiz. It's only 10 items. I don't expect you to get any of them correct. Anything you get correct is great, but I'm trying to figure out where people are, how much they know going into the course. Also, that's the main way that I'm using attendance. So we need to let the university know if a student attended their course during the first week. Taking that pre-test quiz will let me know that you did attend the online class this week. Next week, week 2, we'll cover chapter 2, and there'll be a discussion board that you'll need to do that week. Same with chapter 3, week 3, and week 4. And then week 5 will be the first exam. Week 6, you'll read chapter 5 and you'll do the week 6 discussion. Week 7 is similar. Week 8, same thing. You'll read chapter 7, learn about chapter 7 from the PowerPoint slides and the video presentations that are there. And then you'll, the assignment for that week is to go to the discussion board and do the week 8 discussion board. Week 9 is chapter 8, and then week 10, you'll take your second exam. Then week 11, somewhere in here is fall break. Oh, during week 9, fall break falls in there. That's why week 9 is not March 7th to March 20th. Obviously, that's more than a week. There's a whole week of spring break in there too. But then week 11, we'll cover chapter 9 and you'll do the week 11 discussion. Week 12, we'll cover chapter 10 and you'll do your week 12 discussion. You'll really want to be working hard around this time, around week 12 and week 13 on your behavior modification project. This is where you'll start doing your login and looking at your behavior and then deciding how you're going to manipulate it. And then, and again, I'll talk more about this, but it takes about 9 or 10 days to actually do the behavior modification assignment, the things for the assignment, collecting your data. And so you'll start that around week 12 or week 13. Also, week 13, we'll cover chapter 11 and 12, and you'll do the discussion board. And then week 14, that's the exam that's proctored. So that'll be the exam that covers chapter 9, 10, 11, and 12, and that's the proctored exam. And then week 15, we'll cover chapter 13. There'll be a short discussion board there. And your final paper, that behavior modification paper, is due Monday, May 1st. Your final exam will open at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, May 2nd, and close at noon on Friday, May 5th. And that's the comprehensive final exam. That's not only worth the 50 points for the final exam, but also can replace one of the former exams if you scored higher on the final exam than you do on one of those others. So it can account for up to 100 points of your course. So course grade. So there we've got the 3 exams worth 50 points each for 150, the comprehensive final exam worth 50, the 12 discussion boards, 10 points each, is worth 120, the behavior modification paper is worth 100, for a total of 420 points. Plus you get those 20 extra credit points if you do those. So in order to make an A in the class, you need 376 points or higher. To pass the class, you need at least 250 points. Okay. I think, as with any online class, it's going to be really hard if you don't log into this class. I would say a minimum of 3 times a week. If you try to sit down and do this all in one sitting, you'll be bored out of your mind and it will just be too difficult. It's too much to do all in one sitting. And so if I were you, I'd come up with a planner and I'd come up with 3 times each week that you're going to deal with the psychology of learning material. So it may be that the first day you read the chapter for that week. The second day you look at the PowerPoint slides and watch the videos for that week, 1 or maybe half of the videos. And then the third day you finish watching the videos, and if there's a discussion board that day, then you, for that week, then you answer the discussion board and respond to your classmates in it. So I think that's a good way to handle the course. But hopefully, you know, this is an upper division class. It's probably not the first online class you've taken, and you know you better than I know you. So what's worked for you in the past will hopefully work for you here. The due dates for all of the discussion board assignments can be found within the course calendar, and you just can't turn them in late. It's impossible to have you turn in the discussion boards late because you're trying to respond to other students, and how do you respond when it's closed? So that just doesn't work. So there also aren't any makeup exams or discussion board posts, except for circumstances deemed to be uncommonly impactful by your instructor. So things like you're in the hospital, your mother passes away and that's the week of the funeral, something that, extenuated circumstance. And if that's the case, then we'll probably reschedule a time for you to make up the exam, but I will have to have documentation for these things. And remember, you have an entire week to take each exam. So if you're in the hospital the last 2 days, that doesn't count. You'd have to be in the hospital the whole week in order for me to say, okay, you can make up the exam. So most students don't make up the exam, but you can always use your final exam to make up for one of the exams because it can replace the lowest grade of one exam. I've already talked about the extra credit. If you haven't completed 30% of the material and you're not responding anymore, then I'll send you an email saying, do you want to withdraw from the class? And if I don't hear from you, then I'll do an administrative withdrawal. The syllabus that we have is a guide. If something happens, obviously I'll make announcements. So if it needs to be changed in any way. It's really important that you not plagiarize, that you not steal the work of any other person, that everything that you do, that you're academically honest. Naturally, being in higher education, our ideas are our product. And so we see plagiarism and academic dishonesty, cheating on an exam as a very we don't take this lightly. These you're sort of stealing. It's stealing to us. And so if I do find out about it, you will well, for plagiarism, you get a 0 for the assignment the first time, and then an F in the course the second time. And that's for the whole Department of Psychology. So behavioral, the course description is here. Our course is an investigation into the process of learning in humans and animals with a focus on the cognitive and behavioral components of the learning process. We'll learn how the field has influenced other areas of the discipline, including education and psychotherapy. And the prereq for this course is general psychology. So the main program objectives, we're working on all of them in this class. By the end of the class, you'll be able to demonstrate familiarity with the major concepts in psychology, specifically classical conditioning and operant conditioning and observational learning. You'll also be able to evaluate information using the scientific approach. Psychology of learning uses the scientific method over and over. There's nothing we're going to talk about in here that we don't know because of an experiment that was done. Multiple experiments that were done. And you'll certainly learn to effectively communicate scientific findings, especially with the behavior modification paper. So I'm excited, and I think that you will enjoy this course. I hope you will anyway. So week 1, hopefully you've now done this part. You've watched the video. You've looked at the syllabus sort of with me. Another thing that you want to do is take the pretest by the end of this week, and you want to fill out that proctoring form by the end of this week, saying how you're going to have your exam 3 proctored. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, please call me 580-581-2315 or email me marydz@cameron.edu. I really think we're going to have a good time this semester. So thank you. Goodbye.